Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. On this channel, we talk about faith, hope, and everything that I love. So, in this video, I had to pump anyway, so I thought it'd be like perfect timing to go ahead and give my review of the S12 MomCozy double breast pump. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Just basically give you guys the lowdown on the likes and the dislikes, at least from my perspective. So if you're interested, keep watching. There you go. Let's just get the dislikes out of the way. So I'm gonna say one of the things that I didn't like at first, which is kind of like really like small, but like the fact that I can't use it anymore is a little annoying because they just kind of like pop out of it. Now I have found like an alternative to this and I will share what I do. Anyways, they come with bags. I don't have them with me right now, but if you're interested in the unboxing of the S12 MomCozy, go ahead and watch that. I'll link that video at the end of this video. And anyways, it comes with little like sort of satin looking bags, and I was like, oh, that's cool, because like why would you want to get this dirty just rolling around in like your bag or whatever you carried around in your car, if you're a student, whatever it may be, right? So it's cool that it came with bags. But the bags have like these little ribbon lace things, and like they came undone. So like the little ribbon came out of it, and that's how you tighten it. So now like, and you can't necessarily stick them back in there. So I just wish that they would have like knotted it so it wouldn't have came out, because it legit fell out like on its own. And now like the bag is cool and it works, but like it doesn't keep them from staying in or like rolling out. I just put them together like this, right? And then you can just like take a hair tie, and if you can see, there's like lips underneath there, you know, like a little lip. And then you take the hair tie, basically, I'm gonna back up really quick, and then you wrap it around the thing and make the hair tie go around the lip part. See, look at that. And they won't come apart in like your bag or your purse. Guys, number two of why I don't like this. Now, I'm not saying that I just disregard this pump, because it actually like is super beneficial to me and I'm super grateful that I have it. But I'm just letting you guys know, if you do get it, these are the things that you might have to deal with. So anyways, without further ado, so we're talking about, if you're breastfeeding, the downfall of it is you're going to be washing your pump parts a lot, right? A lot, especially if you're exclusively pumping. Now I'm not, like, when I'm not with her, I'm exclusively pumping, right? But when I'm just with her, I just like keep her connected to me like all day long. Like I'm her charging point, basically. But when you wash them, right? So like, you put it together, there's like a couple of parts, and it's typically fairly easy to wash these. And like this comes apart, this comes off, and this comes off too. So I mean, like what, five or six parts. So that's pretty nice. But here's the thing that I don't like, right? So you have to put it on here in such a way that it literally like seals completely, because this has happened to me once or twice now, and it's so annoying when you space out certain amounts of time to be able to pump. Like I work and I'm a full-time student, I'm a mom, like whenever I set a time to do something, I need that time to be filled with that thing. Like I don't necessarily have time to like redo that thing, you know, or reschedule it right after. And if you don't put this on here, like press it down a certain way, and I'll show you like how to do it, then you're gonna put it on and be like thinking it's sucking, right? Suckling, like you're getting milk out, and then you look down, pull it off, one of them's full, and then the other one has nothing in it because it wasn't doing anything that entire time. So that sucks. So to avoid that, you put everything on there completely, right? So make sure that's on there, make sure this is sealed completely around that. And then what I do is make sure this part, see how this comes apart? Make sure that is completely pressed up against that, and you can take your thumb and go like this and then grab the other part and like press it together. Also, what I've noticed is what helps is you take your thumb again and you press down, like straight down, and it will make sure that it's level and set with the rest of it. And then also, okay, you want to make sure that the lip of this is around it completely, and you'll hear it. Hold on. Like the little snapping noises is where the seal is like going around the plastic and sealing properly. This is for kind of like afterwards, like retrieving the milk and putting it in freezer bags or bottles, whatever you like to do in storage wise. On here, right? So it's like a lip and it's even until you get to this part, and then it changes, right? So it changes about like right there. You want to make sure that this little whole thing is lined up with that uneven part, because if it's not, then that hole is going to be covered, right? And when you go to pour it out, it's not going to come out, and it also might like pour out from a different side and you'll lose all of that milk. Yeah, so there's little tips on that just to avoid any frustration, any time lost. Before I show you like getting into like what it looks like, what it feels like wearing it, the other part is when you go to pour milk out of this like this, you want to make sure that there's no like milk just chilling in there, and so you want to kind of like tip it forward so it goes down, if you can see it, into that little hole, that little canal, and then it just all forms and puddles on the inside of the pump. Otherwise, when you tip it like this, because tipping it like this will force, if you tip it backwards, right, it will force all of the milk that's in it to pour out of the front. So this is what I do, is you tip it forward, which seems a little crazy, but it works because it funnels into the pump, and then it pours out this top part right here. When you tip it a little bit, right, it dribbles into whatever you poured into, but if you tip it a little bit more, that sucker flows. It's like a solid stream, so just be prepared for that. It flows fast into whatever you're pouring it into. Another thing is you want to make sure that your nipple, when you put it in here, and sometimes it's hard because you're like on the go or you're trying to be discreet, but make sure that you put your nipple in the middle of this, because if it's pressed up against either one of these walls, it's going to basically become like blocked and it can't suction. So that's a big pointer for me, because that was also one of the reasons when I looked down, there was nothing like in the cup at the end of the pumping session, and it's just like, ugh. All right, so another thing that I don't really like, and like I kind of knew about this when I was like going into it, was the non-discreteness of this specific pump, just because of like how big it is. As I shown you before, it kind of just like sticks out the top. So from side view, from front view, it looks a little wonky, you know what I mean? And if you're somebody that is like always on the go, working, being a student, being a full-time mom, I was excited about having something that I could just pop in, which I can, but also like something a little bit more discreet would have been like better, because I don't want like all the attention on me, if that makes sense. Now sometimes I don't care, because like opinions are like butts and everybody has them, as my mom always told me, but also it would be a little bit more helpful. So I do have them in right now. So one of them is facing it like, so it's like sitting upright where the top of the pump is just sitting right here, right? And then the other one, this is a hack that I kind of found, especially with wearing sweaters or like bigger, baggier shirts. It helps with the discreetness, is kind of turning the pump a little to the right or to the left, and it kind of like hides it within like the shirt, because typically you have more material on the side rather than like the front view. So I don't know if you can really tell, but when I turn to the side, it looks a little wonky, right? So with this one, I guess you can't really tell, but wonder if I can position it in a way. This one, basically, you can not see it as much because of the loose material. Now this one, it's just kind of like, you can see a perfect outline with it. So yeah, that's a little hack. That's a little dislike on my part with this pump. The next dislike that I have with these pumps is that they're a bit noisy, I'm not gonna lie. So for me, driving is like one of my main jobs, and it's like a no big deal just to have the noise going in my car, just like going from one thing to another. But if you were to work in like an office setting, or sometimes even when I drop off at people's houses, it just is a bit like embarrassing, I guess. If you don't care, you don't care. And sometimes I have to tap into that part of me that just doesn't care because I'm feeding my baby. But I'll let you guys hear what it sounds like. It's pretty quiet in here. It's kind of echoey, so it might sound a little louder, but probably not. So it's not like crazy noisy, right? Like me talking kind of drowns it out, but it is kind of noticeable. And it would just be a little bit nicer if it was a bit more discreet. And I've heard of the Willow one is like one of the best ones that is like non hook up to the wall. And I heard that one isn't noisy. And then there's like another one too that isn't as noisy. Let's really get in here and talk about the pros, because there is a lot of cons, but also maybe it's nitpicking, maybe it's Maybelline, but also like this thing is like, this system like has really saved me in many areas. Okay, let's just jump in there. So for one, just mental health wise, so I spoke about it, and if you guys want, you can go look at the end of this video. I already said it, but in the video where I unboxed it, how important it was for me to even be able to purchase the thing. I'm so grateful, so blessed to even have it, because with my second daughter, I experienced a lot of, well, with both of them, I experienced postpartum depression a bit, but really with my second one, because we were living with people and I was just very isolated because I was exclusively pumping a lot of the time because I was in the military, and I just had to basically be hooked up to the wall. And because, like I said, we live with people, I couldn't do it out in the open. So I would say about 80% of the time I was hooked up to this machine. If not that, then I like was dealing with other things in life, and it just really messed with my mental health. Looking back now, I can see that. Yeah, so having this, I was excited, and it proved to show that it really does help. I can take these on the go. Like I spoke about earlier, I can take them with me when I go and deliver to people's houses for my job. I can take them at school. I'm able to do chores around the house. Like that's a huge thing. Like I'm able to do my dishes. I'm able to vacuum, sweep, mop, laundry, like while I'm pumping. I don't have to sit there for 30 minutes when I have a lot to do. The function of it, I guess it would be like not hooked up to the wall too, but also like the cords, you know what I mean? It's like hassle free. I don't really have to pay attention or like maneuver around all of these cords, and it was a lot. It was overstimulating, guys, like a lot. Tell me why my camera just started recording on its own. Okay, so another cool thing is, like I said, I don't have to be in a room while I pump or anything like that, so I do get to spend more time with my kids. The sound is a little annoying to them, from which they told me, "Mommy, that's a little loud," or "That's a little annoying," but it is what it is, you know? So that's cool that I get to spend time with them, help them with their homework, just always be able to like walk around the house is really cool, being mobile. When you charge the little, I'm gonna call them pucks because they look like little hockey pucks almost, but when you charge them, they do stay charged for quite some time. I think I have to charge them every 2 to 3 days. Now those aren't days where I like exclusively pump, but those are days where I use them about half the time, a little bit more time than I would be like breastfeeding her. So that's a really key point to like remember when thinking about ordering this, because I mean, we already have enough things to charge our phone, like our cameras, our kids' tablets, like all of these things now. So yeah, so just keep that in mind. Those are like the pros that I have. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple more pros, but I think not being hooked up to a wall and be able to be mobile and like help with like my family and stuff while I'm being able to provide food for my child. Like, what the heck? Like, I'd never thought that I'd be able to do this. I thought that I would always have to sacrifice, like, okay, like I'm gonna have another baby because I really want another baby, and like, you know, I feel like God is calling me to have another baby, but I have to do this and this, and it's like, oh, do I really want to deal with that? And now, guys, you don't have to deal with stuff like that, like the postpartum isolation and depression. You don't have to go through that because of companies like this. And so thank you, MomCozy. I'm very, very grateful for what you've created because I'm a happy gal. I'm happy. So thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you, MomCozy, again. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.